This is homework help for exercise 17D. So, question 1D, we are given y equals negative x squared plus 2x minus 5. First thing we want to do is identify the values of a, b and c. Once we've got that, it's easier to answer the rest of the questions. So part 1, b squared minus 4ac, we're asked to use that to verify that the graph does not touch the x-axis. If it does not touch the x-axis, it means that b squared minus 4ac has to be less than 0. So we put our a, b and c values in, calculate the value, state whether it's less than 0, and if so, then write a sentence to verify that it does not touch the x-axis. Second part asks us for the y-intercept. So where the parabola intersects the y-axis, x will equal 0. So then we can work out what y equals using this equation here. Okay, so we put in negative 0 squared plus 2 times 0 minus 5. Please let me point out, 2 times 0 is 0 and not 2. Now for the turning point, so to work out the turning point we need x equals negative b over 2a. And again we're just using our a, b and c values to work that out. So you'll get a value for x, and then once you've got a value for x, you can then put that into this equation again and work out your y value, and that will give you your coordinates for your turning point. Now finally you're asked to sketch the graph. The important thing to notice here is the coefficient of x squared is negative. So that therefore means that your parabola is going to be negative. So it's going to be that shape. Okay, on to question 3a. Y equals x squared minus 4x plus 3. First of all, once again, identify your values for a, b and c. Now, the first part here asks us to verify that the graph does touch the x-axis and in 2 places. Now, for this to be the case, we need b squared minus 4ac to be more than 0. So once again, put in your values, work out the answer to b squared minus 4ac, confirm that it's more than 0, and therefore write your sentence to verify. Now, the second part is where it differs slightly to question 1. The roots of y equals x squared minus 4x plus 3. So if we're finding the roots, that means we want to find where the graph crosses the x-axis. So we want the coordinates for these 2 points. In order to do that, we know that y must equal 0. So we can first of all rewrite our equation, but instead of y we can say 0 equals x squared minus 4x plus 3. And we can then factorise this. So we'll have x in both brackets. Now 2 numbers that multiply together to get positive 3, and 2, when you add them together, you get a negative 4. So we therefore know that it has to be a negative in both brackets, because 2 negatives make a positive. Okay, and then you can go on to work out x equals your 2 values, and you'll get your 2 sets of coordinates. Now the y-intercept means that we need to set x equal to 0, same as question 1, and then work out your value for y using the equation. Part 3, again, turning point, x equals minus b over 2a, and then put that value in to solve y. Now your sketch, x squared coefficient is positive, therefore it is going to be a positive parabola. Okay, I'm going to skip b because it's quite similar to a, however 3c is a little bit different. Now, I want to point out that when you see an equation like this, it's just the same as having a plus 0 on the end. Okay, so your values for a, b and c, okay, a is going to be 1, b will be your negative 2, and c is going to be 0. Okay, so again, put your values into b squared minus 4ac, which will hopefully give you a value more than 0, and you can confirm that it therefore touches the x-axis in two places. When you're doing your calculating your roots, when you want to find out your roots for this, you're going to have x squared minus 2x equals 0, because you're setting y to 0. Now, to factorise this, we just need to look for a common factor. So we can take out the x, have x and x minus 2. Now, this is the same as saying x plus 0 and x times x minus 2 equals 0. Okay? So you can say that x equals 0 and x equals 2. And remember, y equals 0. When you're looking for the y-intercept, x is going to equal 0, so again you can put that into your equation to give you your value for y. And finally the turning point, before we can sketch our graph, just the same as before, x equals negative b over 2a, and then you can find your value for y. And finally sketch your graph. Okay, moving on to question 5. 5a, same as the others, a, b and c values, write them down. b squared minus 4ac, again we want it to touch the x-axis in two places, so we're hoping it's going to be more than 0. The roots, now when you're finding the roots for this, so again, means y is going to equal 0. The way I would do it is to get rid of that negative, put everything in brackets. So take the negative out, but remember, you're not only taking the negative out of the x squared, it's everything in the brackets. So we're going to make it x squared, and we need to change the signs of everything else. Okay? Then you can factorise that. So you'll have an x, and it's going to be a subtraction in both brackets because it's positive 5 that we're looking for, but then we add them together to get negative 6. And then you can get your values for x. Y-intercept is the same as before. X will equal 0. So find out what y equals. Turning point, x equals negative b over 2a again. Find out what y equals. And then your sketch. So once again, just let me point out that it's a negative coefficient, and therefore means your graph, your parabola, is going to be negative.